and imported goods will cost more.
So many consumers are wondering how South Africa's recent credit rating downgrades will affect their bottom line. In this week's Personal Finance feature, we take a look at how your budget can survive junk status. Old Mutual's Head of Financial Education, John Manyika, is here to help us. Tell us what we can do, John. Thanks for your time today. I mean, is it any surprise that we are this in panic mode, given that we were already under financial pressure last year? Our net worth has declined. Of course we're panicking, aren't we?
Yeah, look, in all fairness, I think there's been a lot of political and economic commentary on the downgrading itself. And we believe that conversation needs to begin to go beyond the downgrading itself and start focusing on how do we financially educate the man in the street on how to weather the storms, and what kind of mindset do you need, and you know, what kind of lifestyle perhaps changes you need to make, and what kind of financial decisions you need to make.
I think for many, then it starts with explaining how something like this could affect them negatively. So what would a downgrade mean to the average consumer?
Yeah. So firstly, as you would imagine, you know, once the best way, firstly, to explain down the credit rating agencies is like they are the credit bureaus of governments. I think that's the easy way to explain it. But once they've downgraded the country into a junk status, it actually makes foreign investors panic, and they feel uncomfortable investing in a country where, you know, they're not certain whether the country will be able to service the debt. So we know for a fact that because of the junk status, the cost of borrowing money, you know, by government is going to be very high. And when that happens, then it tends to pushes up inflation. The cost of importing is going to be higher. And once inflation kicks in, then you're certain that the Reserve Bank is likely going to hike interest rate, so which means your personal loans, your home loan, your cars, and all those, the interest on those will begin to rise, and it will shrink the disposable income. Okay,
and we already have a population that is highly dependent on debt. So let's talk about then managing yourself through a downgrade. What are the things?
So look, the first thing, one, is we're saying, should you be concerned? Absolutely. Should you be panicked? Definitely no. So our view is that you need to take a long-term view when it comes to your investment. A lot of people, when they're in panic mode, the first thing they want to do is to cancel their policies and so on. But the first thing you need to look at is your lifestyle. I mean, are there any lifestyle expenses that you may need to sacrifice? You know, how do I begin to live within my means? And then you might need to start that horrible thing that some people call it a budget, you know. So how do I live within my budget, and how do I make those kind of adjustments? But also it means you need to be very prudent with your financial decision making. Also your borrowing, you need to look at that. And you need to find ways of charging down your debt, so you pay your debt faster before we actually start feeling the full effects of the downgrade.
And I imagine in that paying off your debt, you need to look at those really high interest type debts. So give us examples of that.
Yeah, so you know, for example, your credit card interest tends to be higher, and some of those unsecured loans and so on. So that's why you need to actually, it's not about how big the amount is. You need to look at which debt has the highest interest and focus on those first.
And deal with that one first. And saving at a time like this?
Yeah, look, we know it's not easy to actually save at a time like this where we expect the cost of food and transport to actually go high. But you need to make all the necessary adjustments. I mean, that's why I'm saying one of my favorite tips is take a lunchbox, you know.
Stuffed in.
You know, so, you know, so we need to really make some harsh decisions around how we adjust our lifestyle. I mean,
no takeaways, and if you're going to go eat out, maybe cut down as a family.
Absolutely. And simple things like shopping. It means you need to shop around, but you also need to decide whether you want to stay married to certain brands when it comes to food. You know, again, I'm not, I know I'm not going to be popular for saying this, but certainly you need to be very prudent. You need to be very wise. In fact, if there was a time where it was important how to manage our money wisely, it is now.
This is the time. All right, it might teach us a little bit more financial savviness. Thanks for your time.
Thank you.
Today, John Manyika is Head of Financial Education at Old Mutual. Now, New York's governor has announced that the state's budget will include free public university tuition. Residents have hailed Governor Andrew Cuomo's move, saying it would positively impact students. The plan will cater for students who come from families earning less than R1 million a year.
I think it's good. College was a worry for me, like how are you going to afford it, how are you going to go, you want to go to college so you can get a better job, be financially set in the future. So I think it's a great opportunity. Like, it makes college available for a lot of people that weren't able to go to college.
It's My Cash feature coming up after the break. Stay with us.